Hello and welcome to another edition of the Grocery Store Tours. I'm Alexandria Sielaff from Viking Masek, and today I'm joined by Vicki Strull of Vicki Strull Designs. Vicki is a packaging consultant who specializes in helping brands stand out on the shelf. So today we're going to take a tour here in the Sheboygan Piggly Wiggly and look at a few packages. Okay, Vicki, we are now walking into the frozen treat section, which in my life is all about impulse buys. And impulse buys means fun graphics, fun designs and colors. From your perspective, what catches your eye and what's interesting to the consumer when they're looking at this case?
You can see one brand is green. Here's a brand that is more blue, and then they've broken that with a little bit of black. Here's some brands that are blue in the background, and then you've got some that are brown. What the consumer's looking for is the actual product. So you can see that all of them have the product. That's where you're getting the impulse buy. And you can see if they know, let's say it's a parent and they know that their kid likes Bomb Pop, then they might buy this one. These are at the bottom. These have less shelf appeal. They're a little messier looking than these. So they have a bit less shelf appeal, even though these are individually wrapped on the inside. So they're really easy to use on the inside. Once you give these out to the kids, or you have a few kids over, you give them out. These are probably also less expensive, but they're a little messier inside the refrigerator.
This feeds the masses on the 4th of July.
It does.
Gets the job done.
It does. This is for the birthday party. Now, if you look at the one above it in the green, because of the colors, you can see that this one looks a little healthier than these because they've chosen green. Now, I haven't read the ingredients, but it's likely this one also says that this is made with real fruit, which means they think that that we're supposed to think that it has more fruit or fruit juice or something, that it's not just sugar and water. And so they're using color to subconsciously connect with the consumer in that way.
So this is selling fun. This is selling fun with a little bit
more healthy treat.
And in here, so we're looking at the design here, but the actual carton then opens up into a flow wrap product, and you see the branding continuous through. I don't know that that's the same throughout. Some might just have a clear film. They chose to include the brand. All right, so in summary, frozen food, frozen treats, all about the color, the message, the value cues within the package. And frequently you're going to see flow wrapping and you're going to see cartoning. So coming into this aisle as a machine, like a packaging machine person, all I see is vertical form full seal bags. However, Vicki, with your very talented eye, I know you are seeing so much more than chips falling and getting sealed. So let's talk about what's right here in front of us. We just stopped and we're admiring the difference between these two bags. Very similar. Got puffed corn with some flavoring on it, but the packaging tells a much different story depending on where you look. So what are you seeing?
So I see the hot fries, and the hot fries are almost like a cult following, but you can see it's really shiny. It does not feel healthy. That's okay. That's who their audience is. That's who's buying these. But then you contrast that with these puffs, and these puffs are in the clean ingredient trend.
Feels
right?
luxe. You got matte finish.
It's a matte finish. There's white. So it's just in the past probably maybe 2 years that we're seeing white in packaging, because everything was always an explosion of color. Now with white, the white is signifying it's clean. They're pointing out there's no artificial colors. There's made with real cheese, no artificial flavors. It's simply, this is their party size. It's matte. It's toned down orange. It doesn't feel like orange, fake orange. This would be like cheddar orange.
This is a response to the consumer demand. Now, there's definitely lots of good things going on here. I take this home and I feel like super mom because my kids are so healthy. However, I also bring this home and my kids actually think I'm super mom because they're obsessed. So all good things, two totally different designs.
Okay, so we came down the coffee aisle because I happen to love the smell of coffee, and then I saw this, local coffee, and it's not local, it's really Madison, but I love it. And then you have all these different flavors, and they take such care with their flavors. Like, look at this one. This one is peanut butter fudge, and it has this really cute bear on it. This one is the yak, which is Highlander grog. So they have some that are special limited editions, or some that are standard, and some that are look like this. Now here's the thing, I would buy this because I like to buy local, and some of these tell a story, and I love the story that each of these flavors is telling. But here's their problem if they want to scale even bigger, so they're not just selling on an end cap. If they want to be able to sell within category and put these, say, in a Walmart or a Target or other places that aren't in an end cap, they need more consistency. So if I look at all of these together, I'm not recognizing what the brand is right away, because you have some that have a bar in the middle that say the flavor. Others, they take over the entire package. And then this limited edition is metallic, which, by the way, I happen to love the metallic. Then you have some more consistency down here with the small packs. And these have a gradation, and there's not gradation anywhere else. Each in their own right is beautiful packaging. Now, to scale, for this brand to scale, they actually now need to choose a look and be consistent with the brand of this brand to actually build brand loyalty in multiple environments, so that they can live on a shelf that's not just on their own merchandising end cap.
I see so many pre-made bags. This is an example of how you can stand out and really, really make an impact with a fairly large pre-made bag. We don't have like the traditional wrap top here. Again, great option there, but here you have a differentiated bag, which is pre-made. And then these little guys are little frag packs, and they're very convenient for like just coffee in the evening with some guests, or taking them for travel. So these would be vertical form fill seal, and these would be on a pre-made rotary. So a few different examples from one great brand. Well, thank you so much for joining us for another grocery store tour. Thank you to Vicki for joining us and sharing your insights. The common thread for me here, we looked at frozen treats, we looked at coffee, we looked at chips, and all along the way I see that it's all about intentionally choosing your design, the materials you use to package, and then the machine that brings it all together is what makes you stand out on that shelf and make an impact. Vicki, any last thoughts?
Thank you. It's really just about the imagery and the differentiation and the cohesion of that brand, and then you take that into the material and the structure, and then how that's packaged, and you get a complete package for brand loyalty.